This presentation is about 13 slides long, or short, however you want to take that. And it really only touches on the immense collaboration that our Meadow Lake First Nations, MLTC, and various organizations have put forth to support the reopening of our schools in a safe and holistic manner. So Meadow Lake Tribal Council, it's to promote and enhance the well-being and prosperity of our First Nations, and to become a strong, united voice for supplementary support and effective services for our First Nations to create health, prosperity, and good governance is the vision. Most of my teaching career for the last 20 years has been either with Meadow Lake First Nations, Meadow Lake Tribal Council, or with Sask River's Public School Division in Prince Albert. So to give you a bit of background of the Meadow Lake Tribal Council, they were established in 1981, and at that time they had 10 employees and operated on a budget of about $150,000. By 2017, it was closer to 200 employees and 50 million, and this past year we were managing a budget of approximately 70 million plus and over 300 employees. So it's grown quite rapidly and quite well. Now, MLTC Tribal Council has many different departments that support our 9 Meadow Lake First Nations, including CFS, health, technology, tech services, youth development, HR, education, finance, elders, corporate services. So there's a number of things that the Meadow Lake Tribal Council provides and supports to our 9 Meadow Lake First Nations. And to give you an idea of where we're located, so we're on the northwest side of the province, and it's quite a diverse tribal council. We have both Cree and Dene linguistic groups, and we are scattered amongst Treaties 6, 8, and 10. And our numbers have gone up for population, but in 2010, it was approximately 12,618 members for all 9. Combined. And the overall goal of the Meadow Lake Tribal Council is to really improve existing programming and service delivery, the creation and innovation of programs that will help support our 9 Meadow Lake First Nations. And this has been about 39 years that MLTC has been in existence. When it comes to the branch of education, our vision is to foster sustainable, meaningful, and supplementary educational services that promotes lifelong learning through an Indigenous and holistic lens. Our mission is to empower member First Nations by providing sustainable supports that honor a reciprocal and relational exploration of bridging traditional and non-traditional knowledge that connects person to place. So we really are trying to equip our children and our youth to be able to successfully walk in both worlds. We do have a board of education. We are a federally incorporated board. Each one of our communities gets to appoint a person to be a director of education on our board. The difference between this board and other boards is that you can be a chief, a counselor, or a community member that chief and council appoints to this board. When looking at our personnel and in education, we have 10 full-time employees. So the left side with the senior director, superintendents, and our admin support staff, we work all year round. And then we have approximately 25 contractors that support our 5 major initiatives. So we have early learning, LLRC, which is land, language, relationships, and culture, CIA, which is curriculum instruction and assessment, student wellness, formerly known as special education, and instructional leadership. Now, these 25 positions are somewhere between 20 days up to 200 days. A majority of our consultants and coordinators are similar to a teaching contract, so about a 200-day contract for that school year. So that's our education team, where we provide second-level support services. So we can work one-on-one with teachers, do presentations of professional development for whole staffs, any kind of resources or training that our schools need. we provide those supports for them. So about 1/3 of our funding goes directly to our communities through service agreements, and that helps fund early learning interventionist in every kindergarten classroom, an LLRC catalyst in every school, as well as a numeracy and a literacy catalyst in every single school as well. So our teams work with these catalysts who then are in the school as the support for the teachers and the school-based administrators. So we kind of have 3 tiers of staffing supports. The schools that we support, we have 9 of them, and they range from 100 students up to over 350 students at any given time. Our 9 schools approximately have 2,200 to 2,400 students altogether, and all the schools, with the exception of Flying Dust, offer education programming for nursery to grade 12. Flying Dust, Copenhagen School, was nursery to grade 4, but they had an expansion and now they're offering nursery to grade 8 programming this year. So when the pandemic started to hit our shores and said, if we are mandated to work from home, what would that look like for you? And how can we still provide our supports to our community? So what we did was, prior to our work from home mandate on March 16th, we had our staff make up lists of tasks and projects of things that they could do while they're working from home, as well as providing continued support to our communities. Many of our schools shut down shortly after, around that March 16th date, and some were providing supplementary learning packages. So we were trying our best to continue those 2nd level supports, and it was based on request from school. So whatever they needed, we tried to support them in the best we could. So with our lists and tasks in hand, we were all work from home. No one knew how long this would be or anything like that. So there was a lot of unknowns, a lot of anxiety, you know, some fear. But what we did as an organization with MLTC is that they had weekly conference calls with all of the 9 Meadow Lake First Nation chiefs. We had medical health officers, our CMP, Indigenous Services Canada. We had our Meadow Lake Tribal Council directors, our tribal leadership, and many others participate on this weekly call to get updates. And of course, in the beginning, education was not a priority at that point. We had the blockades and things like that. So it was good to listen in on that and see what the scope of supports were and how our communities were reacting and putting in preventative measures to keep their communities safe. On top of that, in education, we participate in the weekly Ministry of Education conference calls. We had our school-based administrators web into meetings with us even over summer. So although they were on holidays, we kept communication with them. We also had a Google Classroom set up for all of our school-based administrators, because we know everybody was inundated with emails with recommendations from every organization you could think of. And so what we did is the Google Classroom, we put as much pertinent information in there for them to utilize. So we have that, and then we have that ongoing as well. And MLTC as an organization developed return to work policies that every employee must read through, attend a training based on those work policies, and then complete 2 additional modules through NEAA. So those were some of the things that we've done in the last couple of months. And really in spring, before we left for summer, before most of our staff left for summer and our schools closed, we started preparing for 3 options. And I know these options aren't new. They've been floating around for a while, but what would our fall look like? And we have 3 different options. So the new normal, back to school face-to-face, of course, with the health recommendations in place. The second option would be a blended education type of programming where there would be some face-to-face and some virtual. And then of course, virtual, so full online education programming. Some have had their cases of COVID and some have never had a case of COVID to this day, knock on wood. So we anticipated that we might have 9 different school plans, 9 different start dates. And so we started to bring in all the information as we developed a return to school reopening document. And I think it's about 70 pages now, but it has those 3 options in this return to work or reopening of schools document. So it's more of a guideline of a living document that will continuously change because we know the recommendations are coming in daily, if not hourly. And so we keep adding to it. And so our school-based administrators have access to this to be able to use as a reference. We have indicated to our communities that the school-based administrators, their health committees or pandemic committees, their chief and council, their leadership need to work together to build a plan that custom fits their community and their needs. So we have 6 so far that out of the 9 who are completely different. We have 9 different start dates for our schools as well. We additionally have some meetings with some of our other communities where we'll help support them in developing their own plan. Now, this whole 170 days has, had its challenges. It's been traumatic. Some people have done really well during this time and some people have really, really struggled. And right now, what we're dealing with is the connectivity in our communities. Some other areas of concern are the fear and anxiety of our staff and students and parents, of course, and we've utilized Kevin Cameron's reopening guidelines as a template and shared that with all of our schools and with our staff and brought it into our return to work plans as well. And really the unknown of all of this, when's it gonna end, and this is a marathon, it's not a sprint. So we really have to pace ourselves for that long haul. But through all the tragedy and the fear and anxiety and things that have come up that have been really traumatic for everyone, we've also seen some blessings as well. And our communication with our communities and our staff and our students and our parents has increased quite significantly, and I think that's a positive. We've really had to look at what our priorities are and initiatives that mean the most. Collaboration amongst interagency and external agencies has been exceptional. We've had more conversations with people in the past few months than we have in many years. Relationships as well have improved. One would think when we're apart that they would suffer, but really there's been a huge effort with our teams to reach out and check on people and do those heart checks. And I think that's been another positive of bringing us closer together, even though we're physically distancing. And also as an organization, efficiencies. We have found so many efficiencies of being more virtual, more online, more digital than we were with the paper and pencil and handwriting things. So although it's quite traumatic going through this pandemic and has upset everybody's lives, we have also been able to see some of the blessings and the good things in this time. Thank you.